So we've talked about coaching for performance and coaching for development. I'm going to share with you two of my experiences with working with two very different supervisors, and I want you to see if you can pick out the difference between which one focused more on coaching for performance and which one focused more on coaching for development. So let's call them Damien and Chrissy. Now, Damien was a really astute supervisor, and whenever I would go to him, he would always ask me what's the challenging case I was facing, and he would want me to bring it up and to discuss the cases that I was stuck in. So every meeting that we had began with weekly and then moved to fortnightly, became focused about the challenges that I was facing with the clients. And it was on a case-by-case sort of situation, and we were discussing the stuff that I felt that was no development, the client was not developing or not moving in the direction of improved outcomes, and also stuff that I feel that I was stuck with. On the other hand, Chrissy, she was different. When I worked with Chrissy, she was always focused on me, on my learning, what sort of things that I had to do to move, to develop, to kind of push to my growing edge. And I'm always thinking about that focus. And of course we bring up cases and we discuss, but it's always about what's something that I can be growing more on, or what's something that I can improve on myself. And both were equally, should I say, make me felt good about myself as a therapist, because there was always something I was learning. But right now, think of this question: which supervisor falls into the category of coaching for performance and coaching for development between Damien and Chrissy? Okay, so by now you realize that some of the videos are interactive, which means you'll be asked certain questions or quiz along the way. So if you haven't already, you can slide back the video and respond to the question whether Damien and Chrissy, the two of my ex-supervisors, whether are they coaching for performance or coaching for development. So you can realize that within this last couple of videos, I spent quite a bit of time talking about coaching for performance and coaching for development. It's very important for us to make a distinction, because as we go along, you'll find that we will be navigating these two worlds, and it's very important for us to see where this fit in. And I'm going to kind of elaborate right here on the differences. So coaching for performance is focused very specifically on the micro, which means we will discuss the issues on a case-by-case basis of our clients that we, most of the time, if we get stuck with or we're having difficulties with. The second thing is we're focused on improving the outcomes for each specific case. So it's working on one client at a time. It's focused on the client because we want the outcomes to be achieved with each of the clients that we're talking about in the context of supervision. On the other hand, coaching for development is focused on the macro. It's on the big picture. It's also about establishing an ongoing learning development plan. So if the supervisor is to be discerning about what to focus on, first it needs to figure out what to focus on before getting on the how to get better. So focusing on the what, which means needing to establish a clear professional development plan for the therapist at a given moment in time. The second thing is also looking at improving the therapist's overall outcome or effectiveness. And this is key, because often when we go into supervision, we are often working with one case at a time. We must not lose sight that the other thing as well is to help the therapist get better at what they do. And it's, of course, focus on the therapist. So going back to the question between the supervisors, Damien and Chrissy, the answer is Damien is focused more on coaching for performance, one client at a time, whereas the supervisor Chrissy is focused more on the macro, which is coaching for development. Now, I'm not saying that either or is good or bad. I'm saying that we need to marry these two together to walk between the micro and the macro, to walk between coaching for performance and coaching for development.